Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks, the channel where I walk you around interesting towns and trails and cities and locations and point out and find various things of interest or prettiness, I guess, beauty. Today we are in Chattanooga. We're above Chattanooga actually, on Lookout Mountain. I'm going to flip you around here. 1, 2, 3. My name's Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. I like to stress the co-discoverer bit because I'm not an expert on a lot of places, most places actually, and so I just like to share with you my own explorations, and hopefully you enjoy that. I will be talking pretty much the whole time, so if you're looking for a quiet, silent walk, there are other channels for that. So if you're looking for a nice way to entertain yourself during your treadmill walk, this might be the channel for you. So I'm going to flip you around again. This is the entrance to Point Park, and I'm going to walk us around just a little bit around the outside before I go in there. It is a federal or a National Park Service site. There's some paid parking, very limited free parking, a nice little visitor center that explains the Battle of Lookout Mountain, which was a battle that took place here in November of 1863. There's also another battle site nearby called Chickamauga and Chatanooga battle site, and it explains the overview of the battle in the visitor center, and have a nice big kind of panoramic painting, not a cyclotron painting. And then they have this little park here, which is not huge, but it is pretty and quiet, and we will get some amazing views of Chattanooga. It is November, about almost 11 a.m. as we start this walk, and it is 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius, and a pretty cool, pleasant day. Some squirrels over here, and we'll get into, I think, I'll try and, if we have time, I'll do a little walk around this really kind of fancy neighborhood, some really nice homes and with amazing views. Of course, this whole area was a battlefield, but they didn't reserve all of that for the park. So we'll take a look at what they did down here, and we'll get some good views. They've got this, I don't believe this castled edifice was here at the time, but it is now. There is a fee to enter the park. You have a National Parks Pass that should cover you. And they have a pay kiosk. They also have paid parking if you can't find free spot. Looks like only $10 per person. Yeah. Kids having a great time learning about some history, burning off some steam. I'm hoping we don't get rained on here. It is a beautiful fall day here. The colors, for some reason my microphone's not working. Sorry about that. Hopefully the audio turns out all right. My old mic did not connect for some reason. Anyway, let's take a look out here over Chattanooga. Last summer, I did a couple walks in downtown Chattanooga area and the Chattanooga south side. And you can see it kind of stretching out there in the distance. Oh, let me reframe. I believe this is the Tennessee River. Should have known that. Yep, Tennessee River. And I believe Chickamauga, or Magua, is off to the right there. We're actually, I believe, no, I guess we're in Tennessee. And you get a big sort of oxbow pattern here in the river. You can see the fall colors. I think I was talking about that when I had to pause earlier. Off to the right somewhere, maybe off to the right somewhere, there's a incline railway that can take you up here. Not to this specific spot, but up to this area. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do after that. It's probably not too far of a walk from there up here to the park. But it's hard to imagine, here's some cannons off the line. It's hard to imagine soldiers assaulting this spot. I mean, you can see how steep and rugged this is. It's not a gentle slope. Now, they did, I believe, start at the north end and make their way south, although the breakthrough came in the Confederate center, which was supposed to be, according to what I read in the visitor center, just a sort of a diversion. The Union forces were supposed to dislodge the first line of defense in the center and then hold, but they just kept going and ended up charging all the way up the hill. There's a monument, some kids playing. I won't focus on them, but we got some nice bright orange colors here as well, which I'm loving that it's not warmer than it is, because it is humid. I want to thank our Patreon supporters for your support. You can find a link in the YouTube description below. It really does make a difference, and it may not seem like much to you guys, but it does seem like a lot to me. So thank you very much. We'll go down here and see this view as well. Hi there. So the reason this battle was fought, the Confederates were here because the Union forces had taken Chattanooga, and the Confederates wanted to lay siege. They did so for several months, and then the Unions were able to break that siege. And hi there. And go see what's down here. And then attack to drive these folks off. As you could see from earlier, you know, this was not too far away, and I believe they could fire all the way into Chattanooga from up here. But aside from all that, this is really beautiful up here, really pleasant, and the kids are having a great time. But otherwise, it's peaceful and quiet. This viewpoint, man.
So, yeah, and it's a primitive thing so far, AI. So I'm pretty sure in the next 10 years, if your complaint is only medication refill, then I don't think it's going to be a waste of time to book like an appointment with an NP or a doctor, and they'll just do an AI refill it for you. I think. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Either. I believe there must have been a museum down here. I saw some signs. I don't think that's the case anymore. Some really cool rock formations, though. Reminds me of a bit of the hills overlooking Budapest, where the castle was. You know, Buda and Pest were two separate cities originally, and then became one.
Dabar viskas būtų gerai, bet aš daugiau padariau. Nes aš daug fotkinu, tai gal nusičiaupau. Yra?
Chatanooga nuotrauka yra.
Žiūrėk, viskas išsivalo.
Looks like the museum is open, but I'm not going to take you in there. I am going to duck down this little side quest path over here. Then it looks like we can loop back around the other side of this museum. So we'll do a little bit of backtracking, but that's kind of par for the course here on this channel. Often discovery means having to retrace your steps a little bit. Lots of great interpretive signs with some old photography, that sort of thing.
And I mean, you can go to a cardiology conference.
Interesting to have such a, anyway, I was going to say loud conversation. Okay, so it looks like there's another trail that'll take you down to these places: Craven's House, Covenant College, Skiuka Spring, Sunset Rock. I believe there's a cave here on the mountain. You can see that this is a precipitous descent. So unless you got a shuttle car, consider whether you are going to want to do that or not. Another view in another direction. There's something about being up high like this and getting these views. It's a little special, pretty enjoyable. Pardon the sniffles. Lookout Valley and Browns Ferry. I guess Browns Ferry was an important river crossing at the time. Let's see what we can see around this side of things. Hi there. Excuse me.
No problem.
Thanks. Wow, that leaf blower's quiet. Excuse me. So, I didn't have a walk out last week, and I apologize for that. As you can tell, I was actually down with the flu, and just couldn't manage to do it this week. So, hopefully this will make up for it. I've never really been a Civil War history buff, but I've read quite a few books about it. Less the military stuff and more the politics. But it was a pretty decisive inflection point for the United States, and pretty brutal stuff, as war tends to be, I guess, despite our romanticization of it. I believe until the advent of antibiotics and penicillin, it was pretty common for more soldiers to die from sickness than injury. And for those who were injured, the outlook was bleak. I should look up our elevation here. Well, we're at 2,000 feet here. My guess is we're about 500 feet above the river. Love these giant I guess it's an oak tree of some sort. You hear some birds singing. I don't know if the mic's picking it up. So let's take a little circuit around and just this kind of fancy neighborhood. We won't go too far, but there really are some nice homes, and as you can imagine, the views must be just incredible. Here's a newer one, but a lot of them seem like they have been around for quite a while. Especially lower, you get the big columned porches and porticos and that sort of thing. If you're going to park up here, the parking app you use is Park Mobile. Pretty simple stuff. I love these parking apps. It just simplifies things so much. I think we're on Brow Street. Look at this old Tudor place, kind of neat. Large rolling lawns. Hi there. You can smell the boxwoods around here. Love it. Wrought iron gates. Look at this old stone wall. This place is pretty fancy and old. Looks historic. Beautiful. Love these big porches too, big covered porches. Oh, fantastic. Let's cross over and get a view of the valley below. Big old wall of hydrangeas that have passed the season. No picnicking. Private property. Love it. I wonder if there was either a public park here at one time or another house that is no longer. Some interesting drive infrastructure type stuff, or maybe it was a carriage house, that sort of thing. We're gonna head back here. Oh wait, this is the uphill train, or what I call it, incline railway, which a lot of people might have called, I would have called a funicular, I believe. Let's just check it out real quick. It's really, 5-minute walk from the park, which is handy, much closer than I was saying earlier. So I mentioned Ruby Falls, I think, which is I believe a cave and a waterfall. There's Rock City near here somewhere, this is closed November 4th through 15th. Looks like, judging from the signs inside, it's $20 round trip for an adult. We found, looks like, the one window where it's not open, but kind of cool to see anyway. The Lookout Mountain Incline Railway. So. I often comment on real estate prices as I walk around because I'm curious, and I think it's indicative of the economy oftentimes and other things. It's not always positive or negative. I've seen a couple for sale signs. I don't know what the prices are like here. If you do, or you have a comment, please let me know in the comment section of the YouTube channel. Also, check out the citywalksvirtualtours.com website. You can search walks by location and runtime. Oh, and I started a Facebook group. I queried my Facebook page users if that would be more helpful, and they said it would be, or a couple people did anyway. And the reason I did that is to make it possible for you guys to contribute walks. Oh, look at this place. We saw that earlier. It's the wall of hydrangeas I was talking about in the covered porch. Just beautiful. Anyway, you can post articles, I can post articles, and you can as well, or other people who make walking videos, or people who find walking videos they like and want to share. Feel free to join that group. It's not a public group in the sense that you just click join and you're in. You have to basically agree to the rules, which is relentless positivity and kindness. Pretty simple. And then I'll approve you and you'll be good to go. It's quite the mansion. That's a covered porch right there. Tell you what. As you can see, there's several signs for resident parking only. So you just want to be aware of where you're parking. They also have signs around to a number to call if your car gets booted. If you're not familiar with the boot, it's a big thing they put on your wheel, basically. It keeps you from driving away. It's easier for them than towing, I guess. Look at this place. Let's go back this way. You can see signs towards Ruby Falls, a few other things, but this is so if you were to, once you go past the point, you loop around this one-way road and you would come out here. But one of the things it's going to do is give us a view to the west. I think it's west, northwest. Looks like there's some parking spaces over here. I suspect you still have to pay. Looks like some spaces are opening up. Just giant homes, beautiful giant homes. Pretty cool. If you're not familiar with the United States signage, these do enter signs are just telling you it's one-way traffic the opposite way. It's not saying, it's not a private property sign or a no access sign. It's funny, I was reading an article the other day. We forget the little things that we just take for granted that we know. I was reading an article about someone that moved to, it was France, and they had a real hard time navigating the bureaucracy because they didn't understand the way the system worked. They hadn't grown up with it. It was just different and unusual to them, and they didn't know the little words and definitions and stuff. I'm interpreting a little bit here. And so it was very frustrating to them, and I can imagine, you know, I think a lot of those European countries have a reputation for having a lot of bureaucracy and having that be difficult to navigate, but you know, I have to wonder if those people came here and wanted to build a house, how easy it would be for them to navigate the bureaucracy, or if they wanted to get a driver's license, how difficult it would be because they wouldn't know even which office to go to, you know, or what the signage is and some of the definitions of the words that are used in the brochure. So, you know, it's a trick. Not a trick. It's tricky. And then I read another article about how these people had moved abroad and how much they loved the lack of certain what they called micro stressors, right? So the need to drive everywhere, the difficulty of getting around, the constant bombardment of marketing that we sort of take for granted here in the States. And it's not a judgment, but, well, they were. But I thought it was an interesting thing to think about. So we are back at our origin, having made a couple different loops here. There's a gift shop here, the Battles of Chattanooga. I want to thank you guys for joining me here we're outside of Chattanooga today. I haven't decided if it's in Tennessee or Georgia. We're right on the line here, so right near the line. Anyway, thanks a lot. I'm gonna try and get another walk or two in while I'm here in Chattanooga, and I hope you will join me for those. I hope you enjoyed this one. We will see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.